After Weidman's fight, I got the fuck out of there.
Yeah.
So fucking depressing. You know, why don't we start delving into that? Got to get that off my chest and talk about that.
Did you see it? I wanted to tweet because I saw Matt and Longo. I was so happy to see you guys. I was going to tweet what a great seat you had, and I didn't. I just forgot. And I was like, after the fight, I was like, I had to take a picture. I didn't want to tweet it, but I thought Chris looked, really good, man. And I thought they both. Let me ask you, as the guy.
Sure.
They were both standing up. It's obvious they're both killers on the ground too. And I'm like, I wonder if these guys are both just leery of each other on the ground.
Well, it's like this. Chris was. We'll take it just like round by round for a second. Like after that first round, Chris had him stumbled a couple times.
Yeah,
had him hurt.
Yeah.
So and he was like finding his rhythm. He was rolling with a lot of the shots where he wasn't taking a lot of damage. There was some body shots that Ray asked him about between rounds, and he said he was good.
He got kicked a few times. I saw his leg. He got a nice welt on his leg early. And
nothing that's showing us, hey man, any more of those, you're done. That type of thing.
Right.
No.
It wasn't if anything, Jacare was way the worse for wear. Okay? Second round, Jacare did a little better. And I still gave that round to Chris, though.
I had them 1-1, but I mean, I don't.
But that's what I said to Chris, too. I go, you might be up 2, but that last round was a lot closer. I go, we need this last 5 minutes. And going into that third round, Chris was definitely the fresher fighter. It felt.
Going into the third.
100%.
Yeah.
Because he was landing better shots. Even though Jacare they were in the mist, they were like they were right there in the pocket, but Chris was landing the better shots. And if anything, sometimes when Jacare would hit him, if Chris got off balance or something, that's one thing. But he was clear. He was clear between rounds. Yeah. You know what I mean? As far as, looking into his eyes and talking to him and whatnot. So as far as that third round, everything in hindsight's 20/20 in this game. Because it could be like, as far as like your question, as far as, are you weary on the floor? Of course. He's a specialist in jiu-jitsu. So going into that third round, if it was close where it's like, man, I don't know who's got this so far, or if it's like, yo, Chris, you getting beat up a little bit, that type of thing, it's like, all right, now let's put him down.
Sure.
That type of thing.
Did you think he was up 2-0 going into the third?
I would have gave him 2, but I thought the second round was in question. So I made that clear.
You knew the judges could have had it 1-1.
We need that last 5 minutes. And he had the fight. I felt like he was good. Yeah. He had 5 minutes in him.
That's smart. That's good coaching, because I thought it was 2-0 Weidman, but it definitely could have been 1-1.
I thought it was 2-0, but I've also thought Marab won 3. Now, I mean, you know what I mean? So whenever it's a question, you can't just say, hey, man, you're up 2. Yeah. You just can't say, it's not fair to the guy. So you got to be as honest as possible. I really feel he won the first round. There's no way he didn't.
For sure. I thought Chris
and the second round, I felt good about it, but hey, man, it could be 1-1. Yep. We need this last 5 minutes. Yep. So I let Ray do more of the talking because everything was taking place standing up. I let Chris know that, like, he could do a takedown, but there's no reason to really stress for him at that point to do the to put him down, because he was getting the better standing up, and there was no indication anything had happened standing up, obviously, and it did. But at that point, there was nothing saying like, man, in this next round, if anything, Chris would find his home in the next round. It seemed.
I thought that in the clinch though, Jacare looked more dangerous in those in those clinches. I was like, I wanted Chris out of there. Get the fuck out of there, because I thought at range he was doing a little bit better.
Yeah, Chris also has slick elbows from there too.
He threw a couple of heavy elbows in that second round, or was it the third round?
I mean,
I think it was the second round.
So it's like, it's not. He was fighting really well. Chris was fighting really well.
Were you guys surprised that Jacare was keeping it standing up and not even attempting to take him down?
We thought he'd attempt some takedowns, but the fact that he wasn't, and Chris was landing. I mean, Chris was busting him up. Yeah. I'm telling you, Chris was landing. I mean, you've seen it. I've seen it very close. And it was the one scramble on the floor when Chris got the takedown. Jacare did a beautiful roll.
Yeah.
And Chris right away framed and got out of there because so he didn't get in trouble. But it's always, everything's always 20/20. It's almost like, oh well, the third round, why don't you just tell him to shoot in and take him down and dominate him? And it's like,
that's scary.
It's one of those things like, all right, man, I push for that takedown while he's winning the stand up. I do something that gets a failed takedown. This guy's on his back. He loses. Now who's the jackass? So it's like he was doing well. He was winning. And, you know, we always had that in our back pocket to put him down, but he got caught.
With 45 seconds left or a minute left, then maybe you go for that takedown. But, like, you know, fresh in the round, you're right. It's crazy just to put yourself in that position.
And I've always let him know, like, during the thing, short time, that's when I was yelling when there's 30 seconds left. So he has that in his mind if he needed it. But he was doing well, man. So he was doing so well. And, you know, it's just, you know, it's a heartbreaking game.
When he got knocked down, it was very obvious to me that he was finished. I mean, that was a tremendous shot. And I love that Jacare didn't jump on him.
Jacare's listen, I can't say enough about that guy. I've been a fan of that guy in straight up in the jiu-jitsu world. I mean, he's a guy's a legend. And he made that transition to MMA. And in the very beginning, he had a little, like, bit of a rough start when he first came over. But it shows you his dedication, because now he's a dangerous striker. It took, even though he's an athlete, it took him like on the job training that a lot of jiu-jitsu guys that aren't used to getting hit they'll bail out before that if their jiu-jitsu is not enough.
Yeah.
So it shows you the type of character and work ethic that Jacare has. So nothing but respect to him. A very respectful guy. Nothing but good things to say about him and his team. If you got to lose to somebody, that's the type of guy, you know.
Yeah, I mean,
True martial artist. He did not want to hit Chris again, and
then he hit him a few times when the ref didn't stop.
He had to.
He had to. That's his job. Yeah.
And did you think the same as Jacare, like that should have been the end of the fight there?
Yeah, I mean, the fact that, listen,
Chris's
you
arms
don't
were
know
kinda
when,
open.
of course, no, it should have been over.
Yeah, okay.
But in the middle of it, when Chris went to all fours, went for his leg in the fight, I'm like, you know, keep moving, Chris. You know, obviously, you don't know how quick a guy can
can't
come
see
back.
it. Yep.
You don't know how much a guy's hurt.
Right.
But, you know, Jacare was being a gentleman.
Yeah.
And,
He didn't want to hurt Chris. He respects him.
You know, the referee's got a very hard job. You know, if it gets stopped
Was
too
that
soon.
Dan Riglada?
Yeah, that was Dan. You got to know when to jump in. I don't want to harp on him because he gave him a chance to fight. At the same time, you know, Jacare could have been a real prick, and he wasn't. And he's not but a gentleman. So, you know, it's just, you know, it's heartbreaking, though, you know.
That was incredible.
It's just, you know, so that's why, like, after that, you know, we went backstage, and, you know, his family was there, and, you know, we made sure Chris is good. He was in the tent, you know, just the doctor's got to check him out.
Sure.
And then I got my shit, and then when I got my shit, I just looked at the train schedule, and I'm like, all right, there's like if there's like a 12:40, if you miss that, there's like a 2 a.m., and I'm like, yo, let me just jump out.
And you wanted to just go and bootleg the fight and stream it for free. I understand.
Yeah, you are a prick. Don't you know already that our jobs are at stake?
That is
I'm
true.
only kidding. That's not true.
And obviously, you know, this had a lot of title implications. Do you feel like Jacare now put himself in line to get Whitaker Gastelum winner?
Oh, I'd say so. After that, I mean, shit. Right. You know, that's no easy task, and that's a fight that another couple of minutes. It goes to the decision. I'm feeling Chris has that fight. So
for sure, yeah.
To show that kind of, you know, never say die attitude and to overcome that is a great thing for him. You know, so so a hell of a fight. Got fight of the night.
Fight of the night, yeah. You know? But that's the thing going into it. It's like you look at the skill sets. Both have power. Both are great on the floor. It's like wherever that fight was going to go, it was going to be a battle. So you know.
Yeah, but it was still a shame the way it ended. But again, I never was a Jacare fan. You know, I hate that dumb alligator food thing he does. However, after watching him look at Chris and go, "What the fuck? No, I'm not jumping." I really like him now a lot.
Oh, sure.
A lot. That's not fake sportsmanship. That's not wanting to hurt a guy who you just know, like, yeah, you could. What do you land 6 extra punches and really hurt him?
Right.
I really love that he didn't do that. So good for Jacare. Congratulations. It was a great fight between those guys. You know, and another heartbreak too was Branch, who was supposed to fight Jacare. Jared Cannonier looked really good at middleweight. I mean, he looked really good. It was his first time going up like that. Maybe the lack of weight.
100%.
Did it well.
Can I ask it? Just going back to this because now that you said it, that Cannon, you know, they kind of switched the opponents. Matt, did that? Not that you would make an excuse.
What's
or
his
anything.
nickname?
The Killer Gorilla.
Yeah, he's from Alaska.
Yeah,
Cannonier's from Alaska.
I've seen him in Alaska.
That's where he started.
He brought
fighting,
that up to me. He goes, "Remember me from looking for a fight?" I'm like, "Holy shit, I do." And that was a while ago. So I congratulate him on making it to the big show. You know, because and I'll tell you, he was with Ben Henderson and them.
Yeah,
that was Ben Henderson, right?
Yeah.
Ben,
what a nice dude, man. You know what's funny, man? I ran into Ben on the in Times Square, and Longo gave me the the hotel room. So I'm walking through Times Square, and I thought he said 40. It was on 45th. So I'm walking way past. I'm walking way past the place. I don't know. Longo gave me the wrong fucking directions. So I run into Ben Henderson. I'm like, and I knew he was staying. I go, hey, you know where the Fighters Hotel is? He's like, yeah, it's the back this way. I'm like, fucking Longo. It's not a great story, guys. But I'm just saying.
An amazing story.
Jimmy,
What a
don't.
fun
Jimmy,
movie.
why do you got to be a prick to me?
I'm with you.
I just want people to know my life. So then I'm just saying what a nice guy he is. He helped me out. He's not even from here. This is my hood. And he helped me out.
I was going to ask you, Matt, not that you would make an excuse or anything, but how much of a factor or whatever does a late opponent change things going into the fight? Obviously, you didn't talk about it much.
As far as with David Branch, or
for what? Well, for both. I mean, obviously, we could talk about Branch in a second, but I'm saying for Weidman, obviously, he's looking at Rockhold. The guy's already fought, and then kind of last minute, Jacare gets moved in.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing with that was that, like, I don't know, from my end of it, the jiu-jitsu wise, is where Weidman was really on point with his jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it wasn't. I felt okay with this. It could have been a worse change up with a total different style. Where, I mean, in other words, where you almost like want to be most careful with Luke is where this guy could be most. You don't want either guy on top of you.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. It's not like Adesanya switched in where it's like a totally
when we
different
look
thing,
at this fight here with David Branch by Jared Cannonier, the killer gorilla.
Yeah.
See, this could definitely screw up. With the style change could definitely screw up David Branch, and this is why you saw him try to utilize more of his wrestling and jiu-jitsu, where I felt if he was going to be fighting Jacare, which he was, right?
Yeah.
That he would kind of try to play it the way Weidman was, and
Try to keep it standing up.
rely a little bit more standing, and use his jiu-jitsu as some for anti-grappling. You know what I mean? To take it and keep it standing up. So now that's a totally different change. And as that fight went on, because he probably felt, all right, man, not that. I mean, if he started fresh and he wanted to just stand with Jared, maybe he could. That Branch has some hands.
Yep.
But he probably knew, hey, man, I get this guy down. There's a big difference.
Yeah.
So, and I don't blame him. But it's a last minute change. Now, who knows if your endurance for keeping the fight up is going to be the same as getting the fight down.
Can we see that knockout, Chris?
It's a different win, Jimmy.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? As far as getting the fight down compared to keeping it up, it's a different win altogether. So by him not getting these takedowns and keeping them and finishing them, he could have got tired way quicker than he would in a fight where he was preparing for a guy looking to put him down.
Yep.
Holla?